I'll never forget the moment the police lights painted Sarah Thompson's pristine lawn in flashes of red and blue. She stood there, arms folded, her signature smirk stretched wide, pointing at our gated driveway like she'd just won a war. For weeks, she'd been a thorn in our side, but this was her grand finale, so she thought. Little did she know, the 911 dispatcher who'd taken her call was my wife, Lisa. And Lisa knew exactly who Sarah was. 3 months ago, Lisa and I moved into our dream home on the edge of Willow Creek, a gorgeous property just outside the neighborhood's homeowners association. The pre-VYS owners had made it crystal clear. Our land was private, free from HOA rules. We had the paperwork to prove it. But that didn't stop Sarah Thompson, the self-proclaimed queen of the HOA, from turning our lives into a nightmare. It started small. A week after we settled in, there she was at our door, clipboard in hand, her smile as fake as her highlighted hair. "Welcome to the neighborhood," she said, her eyes already hunting for flaws. "Your mailbox doesn't meet our standards. You'll need to replace it within 7 days." I smiled, polite but firm, and explained we weren't part of the HOA. I even offered to show her the documents, but she brushed me off with a laugh that dripped with condescension. "That's a common mistake," she said, VYing a 3-ring binder into my hands. "All homes in this corridor follow our aesthetic guidelines." That binder? Over 100 pages of absurd rules, everything from approved paint shades to the maximum height of garden gnomes. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. The next week, she was back, griping about our landscaping. Then it was our porch lights. Each time, I calmly repeated that we weren't in the HOA. Each time, she got angrier, her voice sharper, her smile tighter. Lisa told me to ignore her, and for a couple of days, that worked. Then Sarah started taping violation notices to our mailbox. Things spiraled from there. She'd stand on the street, snapping photos of our house for 10, 15 minutes at a time, cataloging imaginary infractions. One day, she parked her golf cart or chariot of petty power right in our driveway, measuring our hedges with a tape measure. When I asked her to move, she launched into a 20-minute lecture about community responsibility. The breaking point came with a certified letter claiming we owed Dula $750 in HOA fines. That's when I'd had enough. I installed a security gate at the end of our driveway, nothing fancy. Just a simple iron design with a keypad and intercom. It wasn't a fortress. It was a message. Our home was ours. Sarah lost it. She left voicemails demanding the gate code for emergency access, citing fake community bylaws and threatening lawsuits. I saved every voicemail, every note, every scrap of her unhinged VY. Lisa, who works as a 911 dispatcher, warned we might need a restraining order if this kept up. Then came the morning that changed everything. I was working from home when the gate buzzer went off, over and over like someone was leaning on it. The security camera showed Sarah, finger glued to the button, her face a mask of fury. I answered the intercom, bracing myself. "Open this gate now, she demanded. "I've had complaints about your property. I'm conducting an inspection." "Sarah," I said, keeping my voice steady, "we're not in the HOA. You have no right to inspect anything. Please stop harassing us." Her voice turned venomous. "Don't tell me what my rights are. I've been president of this association for 7 years. Open this gate, or you'll regret it." "Sarah, I'm working. Leave, or I'll report you for harassment." "You'll regret this," she hissed, storming back to her golf cart. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 20 minutes later, my security system pinged again. The camera showed Sarah on her phone, gesturing wildly at our house. I cranked up the audio and caught her mid-sentence. "Yes, I need police immediately. I heard screaming from inside, and they won't open the gate. Someone might be hurt. The address is 4287 Willow Drive." My stomach dropped. She was calling 911, lying through her teeth to force her way in. I tried calling Lisa, but she was on duty and couldn't pick up. All I could do was wait, my heart pounding, as Sarah paced outside, glaring at the camera like a predator circling its prey. What Sarah didn't know was that Lisa had answered her 911 call. Lisa recognized Sarah's voice instantly from her countless VY sits to our door. More importantly, she knew our address and knew there was no emergency. Following protocol, she couldn't dismiss the call outright, but she flagged it as potentially false, dispatched officers for a welfare check instead of an emergency response, and noted that the caller was a known harasser. That single note changed everything. 10 minutes later, a police cruiser rolled up. Sarah rushed to the officers, pointing at our house like she was directing a Broadway show. I punched in the gate code and stepped out, keeping the gate closed behind me. "Officers, I'm the homeowner," I said, holding up my ID. "There's no emergency. This woman's been harassing us for months because we won't follow HOA rules that don't apply to us." One officer nodded, then touched his earpiece, his face shifting as he listened. "Sir, is your wife Lisa Carter?" he asked. I nodded, confused. "She's on dispatch," and gave us some context. He turned to Sarah, whose smirk was starting to crack. "Ma'am, you called 911 claiming screams and an emergency here?" "Yes, and they wouldn't open the gate." Sarah shrieked. "Someone could be hurt." The officer's expression hardened. "Ma'am, the dispatcher's wife says you've been harassing this family over HOA issues, even though they're outside your jurisdiction. She also confirmed there was no emergency when you called." Sarah's face went white. "That's not true. I heard something. She's covering for him." The second officer stepped in. "Ma'am, 911 calls are recorded. We have your exact words. You claimed screams, but dispatch noted you've made similar calls about other residents who've crossed you." By now, neighbors were gathering, watching the scene unfold. Sarah's eyes darted between them and the officers, her confidence crumbling. "Sarah Thompson," the first officer said, his tone formal, "you're under arrest for filing a false police report and misusing emergency Sarah VYCS. These are serious charges." As he read her rights, Sarah's face twisted through disbelief, rage, and finally fear. "This is absurd," she screamed. "I'm the HOA president. You can't arrest me for protecting the neighborhood." But they could, and they did. As the officers led her to the cruiser, she shot me a look of pure hatred. "This isn't over," she spat. "Actually, Sarah," I said, calm as ever, "I think it is." The neighbors watched in stunned silence as Sarah was loaded into the police car. An older man approached me, his voice low. "We've wanted to stand up to her for years," he admitted. "No one had the guts." Later, I called Lisa during her break. She confirmed what I'd suspected. She'd known it was Sarah the second the call came in. "I couldn't believe she'd stooped that low," Lisa said. "But I made sure every word was recorded." Sarah's legal troubles were just beginning. At her hearing 3 weeks later, the judge wasn't kind. Our mountain of EVY, Dinsevois mails, notes, photos painted a clear picture of her obsession. She was found guilty, slapped with a $5,000 fine, a year of probation, 200 hours of community Sarah VYC, and a restraining order barring her from coming near us. But the real justice came from the HOA. An emergency meeting was called, and Sarah was voted out as president unanimously. Turns out, we weren't her only VY Tims. As she was escorted out, her face was a portrait of shock. Her reign of terror was over. Looking back, I almost feel sorry for Sarah most. She thought she could bully her way into our lives, but she picked the wrong fight. Our home is ours, and no amount of fake emergencies or golf cart standoffs will change that. So what do you think? Was Sarah just a power-hungry busybody, or did she genuinely believe she was protecting the neighborhood? Should we have tried harder to reason with her before things escalated? And what would you do if someone like Sarah targeted your home? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if you're glad she got what she deserved, and subscribe for more wild stories like this.